welcome to our Natural Scotland Week Assembly. It's great to have you joining us from across the country, and we're really excited to take you through a few things this morning. So this morning, we will be looking a little bit at what we learned in our live lessons. We'll be having a little quiz on nature. We'll find out who won our Place for Nature challenge, which will be really exciting. And we're going to see what's coming up next in Climate Action Schools. And just, we're going to finish at the end with a little Q&A session. So if you do have any questions about supporting nature, you can let us know then. So do save your questions up to the end because we will have a nice Q&A session for you at the end. So to get started with our assembly, I'd really love to know one new thing that you learned this week, either during the live lesson or part of the activities that you've done afterwards. So if you could please share one thing that you learned this week in the chat, that would be great. So one thing that you learned this week, if you could share that in the chat, that would be brilliant. Jonathan was teaching us all about the environment and we enjoyed learning about this. It's really lovely to learn about the environment. Oh, and we've got a Puffin's Gaelic name is Seamus Rua. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that name. Red James. And also P13 did a bird watch and they were listening to the birds. Oh, that's a wonderful thing to do at this time if you're really noisy at the moment. Oh, and also we learned that a spider means savage little cow. So the Gaelic Davin Ali for spider, it means savage little cow. It's a brilliant word, that one, isn't it? I really like that one. Oh, it's great to hear that you've been learning some new interesting words in Gaelic for nature and also getting connected to nature. That's brilliant. So just as a wee recap of what we covered this week, in our lesson with Jonathan and Chris, we learned that Scots and Gaelic used to be much more widely spoken across Scotland. And we also learned that language gives us an important connection to our natural world, like the Gaelic concept of dúchas, the connection between people, nature, and belonging to a place. And we learned that we can bring back these languages by using them to describe places for nature around us. And in our story time with Alison, we learned a modern folk tale about the origins of tartan as a way to tell the difference between three baby Donalds. So hopefully you were able to sit in on that one. I can see as well, we've got that we enjoyed learning the Scots and Gaelic names for insects. And on Jonathan's visit yesterday, we learned how electric cars are safer for the environment, about the atmosphere and what this means. And if global warming happens for more than 30 years, it becomes climate change. Oh, that's fantastic to hear that Jonathan's been teaching you lots of lovely things. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a little quiz to test your knowledge on language and nature. So most of the questions will be true and false apart from the last one. If the answer is true, I want you to stand up, and the answer is false, I want you to stay sitting down. And if you're not sure of the answer, what you can do is stay sitting down and pop your hand on your head. So true, stand up, false, sit down, not sure, hand on head. And there will be a question with a number at the end, so you can just say what number you think. So here's the first one. True or false? Gaelic was once spoken across most of Scotland. Do you think that's true? Stand up. Or false, stay sitting down. What do you think? True, stand up. False, sit down. Well, we've got some truths coming in. And yet, if you said true, that is correct. But it's true that Gaelic used to be spoken, so Gaelic originated in Argyll and spread across Scotland. And it was spoken across most of the country at one point, except for some areas of the southeast. But it's now confined to a much smaller area, so we want to try and spread it as much as possible. So the next question is, do you think true or false, foxgloves are called dead man's bells in Scots. So true or false, foxgloves are called dead man's bells in Scots. What do you think? True or false? You trues coming in. So yeah, if you said true, that is correct. And it's probably because of the shape of their flowers and their resemblance to bells that might have been rung at a funeral. So the kind of that bell shape of flower. So foxgloves it's a bell that used to be rung at a funeral, and it was called a dead man's bell. So that's what they got named after. But if you didn't know, interestingly, foxgloves are one of our most toxic plants. It's a good idea, never go too near a foxglove because they are very toxic, but their toxins can be processed and turned into a heart medicine. So not in the form that they are in a foxglove, they're very toxic, but we can turn what's in them into a heart medicine. Okay, next question. The Gaelic word for hedgehog means spiky creature. What do you think? Do you think the Gaelic word for hedgehog means spiky creature? Is that true or false? Oh, we've got a false coming in. What do you think? The Gaelic word for hedgehog means spiky creature. Oh, I think some people have been paying attention. I know we've got some Gaelic learners as well, which is probably helping. So yeah, it is false. So the Gaelic for hedgehog is Gryneag, which actually I think I've said that right. Sorry if I haven't. And it actually means little hatred, which is one of my favorite kind of direct interpretations of a language. So in Gaelic, hedgehog means little hatred. So someone who spoke Gaelic must have got very angry at hedgehog at some point. And the Scots for hedgehog is hurchin, which comes more from spiky creature, but also can be used to mean a troublesome youngster. So it's more spiky creature in Scots, but in Gaelic, it's little hatred. Okay, our next one, true or false? All wildlife needs food, water, and shelter to survive. Do you think that's true or false? True. Got one class saying true. And if you said true, you are correct. So we can support wildlife by providing these three things in our school grounds and our gardens at home. So the best way to do this is by using nature. So rather than introducing kind of man-made feeding and things like that, if we can plant lots of different plants, including trees and shrubs and lots of flowering plants, and to provide food and create shelter with piles of natural materials, and that will also provide lots of places for insects as food for other things. And water, if we can provide water possibly, then that's great as well. And our last question, so this is a number. I want you to give me a number for this one. So there's a survey done in 2022, so 4 years ago. How many minutes do you think primary school pupils spent learning outdoors per week? Maybe you can think about how many minutes you get to spend outdoors. Now, that's learning outdoors, so it's not break time or lunch time, but actually class time that you've spent learning outdoors. On average, how many minutes a week do you think? We've got some answers coming in. 60 and 60. Not many this week because of the midges. Oh, I'm so sorry the midges have kept you indoors. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go outside if there's a whole load of midges. Any advances on 60? So this is an average across the year. How many minutes do we think? We've got 60. So the answer actually is 7. So it's just 7 minutes for primary schools. And we don't know much, we don't have accurate data for high schools, but that's likely even lower. And we think that all school pupils should get time to learn outdoors and connect with nature. And if you didn't know, it's actually Outdoor Learning Day this Thursday, the 21st of May. So maybe try to get outside, as long as there's not too many midges, because I do understand that puts you off. But try and get outside sometime, connecting with nature, and learn something new about it. It's also a great opportunity to keep working on your places for nature if you did take part in that activity. And if you didn't, it's a great time to maybe have a go and learn about some places for nature and look after the nature around you. And so thank you so much for everybody who sent their photos in about their Natural Scotland Week activities, and especially their places for nature. So we're going to have a look now at some that have been sent in. I'll put a wee bit of music on and you can have a wee look and a read about some of these beautiful places for nature. And I think definitely at least one school that's here might recognise their themselves. So thank you so much to everybody who shared their beautiful photos, and the Place for Nature challenge especially. And it's great to see those photos. Over the past week, we hope you have been able to find a place for nature and give it a name in Scots and or Gaelic. And if you haven't already done so, there's plenty of time to do that. It's always great to make a place for nature in your grounds. Get outside and connect to nature. But now it is time to announce the winners of our prize draw. So from the classes that entered our Place for Nature challenge, we did a prize draw and 3 classes have won. So I'd like you to do a little drum roll in your class, please. And so we'll now announce 3 winners of the Place for Nature award are, we've got Melvick Primary School up in the Highlands. Skolavach in up in Corrie nan Elin Siar, and Mount Carmel Primary School. That's P5 from Mount Carmel in East Ayrshire. And congratulations to all three schools. So you've won a £200 gardening voucher and a £100 Muddy Faces voucher each. And thank you so much to Urban Fox and Muddy Faces for sponsoring these prizes. I will be dropping an email to all of the winning schools, and we'll be sending out your vouchers in the post. So do keep an eye out for them. So well done to the winning schools. Now, I did say at the start, we will still have time for a Q&A. So if you do want to hang on for a Q&A, please do. But our next events, just so you know what's coming up next, is that we've got an online event for our Eco Schools. It's our Eco Schools meet and greet with our Eco Schools award winners on Thursday, the 28th of May. So you need to come along and see some amazing examples of what other schools have been doing to look after our environment and hopefully get some inspiration for what you could do in your school. And in the new school year, we'll have Climate Action Month, Spring Clean and Natural Scotland Live lessons. So keep an eye out for announcements and dates of registration. My colleague Kat's just shared in the chat a link that you can have a look to keep an eye out for the registration opening in the next few weeks. And also, it's a good idea if you've not already signed up for our newsletter to sign up for our newsletter to hear a bit more about our programs and what's coming up next. Again, we'll share the link in the chat. So if you haven't already signed up for our newsletter, please do. And just before we have our Q&A, I want to say a big thank you to all the educators for helping pupils do their amazing work and being an inspiration to their classes. And also to all pupils for listening, taking action for your planet and sharing your fantastic work. Give yourselves a big, huge round of applause and please do keep up the amazing work.